Al fin soy yo. A week ago, I sat in a room and I realized I have blood on my body, not just on my hands, but my body. It was like I was submerged and let it dry, believing this red hue was just a part of my skin color. I realized all the moments that brought me here, and I thought about you, and I thought about me, and how one of those nights we laid in your bed and you said you loved me. I hid in the covers, paralyzed with fear and homophobic bullshit pumping through my veins. Suddenly, I am 9, hanging by the basketball courts at recess, staring at my classmate gracefully walking on the other side of the playground. Mesmerized by her womanly features, I hid my fantasies of adoring her with kisses in my subconscious. My fear of who I really was greater than who I wanted to be. Memories flood when we were 19. There we sat at a table in a fluorescent lit room, and I hid behind my religion because I didn't know what I believed. All I could cough up were justifications about what makes my attraction to you immoral, regurgitating scriptural references and church teachings, while simultaneously my body ached to be intimate with you. You didn't understand. You stewed in your own anger, thinking I intended to hurt you with my internalized heteronormativity. You couldn't see how I was gasping for air, smothered in this pool of blood I found myself sinking in. I wasn't ready to love you because I wasn't ready to love myself. And now I am 23. And I look at my Facebook and read about the largest massacre in our nation's recent history. As I gaze upon their faces, I see myself. As I read their names, yo veo a mí misma otra vez. I am so shaken by this violence, my entire existence becomes disrupted. I am startled by my own reflection in the mirror. I whisper to my mentor the pain I feel inside me. I weep in a room full of strangers because I don't know where else to release my grief. And as I heard my sister preaching about how we have blood on our hands from our silence and self-repression, how this makes us culprits to the lives stolen at Pulse Orlando, I began to understand why I have dodged my own reflection in the mirror so many times and why I remain silent about my fear, my upset, my coraje. Once I realized I was swimming in the pool of blood that was my own shame, I thought being with you would be a lifesaver. But you told me I was a fraud. Your own self-hatred preferred for me to disappear, to drown in this pool, and never come back. I didn't need you to save me. What I needed was to know this blood came from my own internalized homophobia and self-rejection. Shedding you was one of my first steps towards liberation, and slowly I swam to the shores of this Red Sea by gaining strength from my newfound self-acceptance. Since then, I have chosen to make peace with the violence I perpetuated through my own lack of consciousness, my own lack of acceptance. I am responsible for my contribution of how I have contributed to the destruction of myself, de mi gente. And finally, I am living in the world more boldly as myself, queer, Chicana, brown, mujer, yo. Al fin, soy yo.